Let's suppose you're encountering arrogance from someone, and really what you said before was that it was fear, but also too their ego, their pride could be hurt because they're thinking, why do you think I don't know what I'm doing? Which is not really what you're saying. You're just wanting to explore more possibilities and let them know that you have a class and coaching available. But how can you turn it around and have it so that they don't feel hurt, that it's about their abilities?
Okay, that's a great question. First of all, we'll go back to that resistance and obstacle thing we talked about before, because if I attack them or approach that whole thing about their arrogance and their putting up a wall against other possibilities, the wall will get stronger. So I can't do that. But if they say, I know how to work with actors, I know all that, usually what I'll say, great, let's see how this goes. And then usually what happens, and I've seen this, and Elsha's seen this many times, start working with the director and they start working with the interrogation process. Two things happen very quickly. First of all, they realize that the interrogation process is difficult, and that's a little intimidating, but they hang in. But then the other thing that they see is what starts to come out of the characters. And they start to see that they are now experiencing something way beyond what they imagined. It probably includes what they thought they wanted, includes aspects of the character they want, but they start to see more. They see such a rich terrain in front of them that suddenly the arrogance drops away. So I rely on the power of what I'm teaching, the techniques of what I'm teaching. If I can take them through these skills and allow them to experience it, it'll change. There's another similar situation when we get into staging, which we talked about before. And I'm doing a workshop on staging, and the director says, oh, I know how to stage this thing. I said, great. And they'll stage it, and I'll look at it, and I will think, no, there's much more you could explore. But rather than tell them, no, you haven't explored enough, you don't get it, I very gently say, okay, that's great. And I'll say to the actor, how do you feel standing there in the scene? They'll go, I feel fine, I feel fine.
Fine.
And I'll say to the director, okay, she's standing there at the beginning of the scene, and how do you want her to feel? Well, she should feel really insecure. I say, okay. And I move the actor a little bit to another place. I said, now how do you feel? She says, this is awful. I feel terrible over there. And I turned to the director. I said, is that what you want? He says, yeah. I said, well, you got it. Then he sees, wow, you did that just by moving her. Rather than argue about what he knows and what will work and whatnot. My job is to demonstrate to the directors, here's how this works. You can argue whether you need it or not. You can tell me, but let me show you how it works. 90% of the time, directors are blown away. We had a situation here yesterday with a writer. This is a slightly different thing, but not on a script. And I interrogated the writer as the main character in the script. And it took, I don't know, Elsha, what was it, about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, first of all, 5 minutes later, he was in tears as the character. He was shaking and in tears because because of what the character was experiencing. And then the writer, what he was experiencing through the character, and he went, oh my God. And he realized he had a whole different movie. He had a whole different scenario. Now he starts to understand the power of what I'm trying to teach him. I could try to explain that to him and go, I don't need that. So writers, directors, and actors have to experience these techniques. I can write about it forever. You can see this interview. You can watch this and go, I think I got it. I think I know what he's talking about. You could even watch the DVD that you watch and go, okay, once you're in there, once you're in the room experiencing it as a writer, as a director, as an actor, any of these techniques, then you will know. It has to be experienced.
Mark, fine. I'm hearing that is a word that doesn't have a good connotation to it. What does fine mean to you? F-I-N-E.
When did I use fine?
A couple times, and maybe I'm projecting my own worldview onto it. But
very possibly.
Probably, but I'm hearing that fine is not a good word to describe something. In fact, it means the opposite, but someone's afraid to let someone know that I'm not comfortable with it. How are you today? Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well, I see. When someone says, I'm fine.
Or, how was it that one scene when you, yeah, fine, it's fine. How was the script? Oh, yeah, we did some
So
revisions.
let me
it's
ask
fine.
you. This is not an interview of you, but let me ask you.
Sure.
Yes, it is an interview. When you hear someone, Karen, say, and you say to someone, how are you doing? I'm fine, fine. What do you hear?
I hear that things are not good, but they don't want to say it, so they have to have a cover that's just sort of medium.
Yep.
Instead of, oh, I'm doing great today.
Yep.
Or,
Okay.
oh, man, I had a horrible time getting here.
So,
but I'm fine. They want to close it down.
yep.
They don't want to talk
so
anymore.
they're closing it, and they're probably saying, what you're probably hearing is, yeah, I'm fine, I'm doing okay, and I don't want to talk anymore.
Right.
Which makes you think and me think there's a lot going on there that it's uncomfortable. She or he doesn't want to go there. So when you say to an actor or someone you work with, how are you doing? Fine. You go, okay, there's something going on. Now, if you keep pressing up against that wall, you're going to get a lot of resistance. Now your job is to, let me see, can I get to it? Can I find another way? And this has been pretty much my whole career. Find another way to access the truth with that individual or with that character, with that writer, director, actor, or character. How can I get around the barriers that are automatically there because we're human beings and we put them up? We protect ourselves. Can I find another way appropriately to get around that and get to the truth? Not only so I can see the truth, but so that the person who said fine, let's say it's an actor who said, I'm fine. My feeling is there's also a part of that person who wants to reveal that. You know, that's their committee. There's another voice that says, I want to talk about it. And the other voice says, don't talk about it. In other words, there's a little war going on in there that we all experience. So if I can get to the truth and somehow find a way, not only so I can know more, but also so that he or she can have the opportunity to reveal it or even learn something about themselves, quite possibly.
Okay. So fine to you doesn't mean conversation's over and it's good. It means, think something's wrong, but I think they would be willing to talk about it if I go around a different way.
Yeah.
And I don't keep pushing up against, doesn't sound like things are fine.
Yeah. Yeah, if I do it doesn't sound like things are fine, then the wall's going to get thicker. Yeah. And it might even be someone says something and I say something, how are you doing? They're fine. And I go, okay, we're going to get back to that later. And I may just go off on a whole nother track, but with the intention of getting to what's bothering them. If it's an actor, since we're talking a lot about working with actors, if it's an actor, then my concern will be that whatever's really going on with them is going to get in the way of their work that day. If it's an actor I'm working with that day, how are you doing? Fine. I go, okay, we got this. This could get in the way of the work we're doing today. And let's say I'm picking up on resentment or anger or fear. And these are very general. And then let's say it's Ian, who's an actor I've worked with a lot, and I get this fine. I go, okay, there's a lot of that going on. Now, as we're working on the scene, I haven't addressed it at all. As we're working on a scene, and I start interrogating his character. Do you know where I'll go? Anger, resentment, fear. As the character, I will allow Ian to express whatever's going on through the character. And this is when it actually becomes, in a way, a little therapeutic, and which is another whole topic, because there are therapists who have been looking at what I'm doing and wondering if it's another form of therapy, which I will address right now. It's not. It's not a form of therapy. Because I've had a lot of people ask me about this, along with the hypnosis question. But the interrogation is not a form of therapy. Therapy generally is intended to help the patient, the person, the individual, sort of smooth out the edges, get through life in a much more comfortable way, and deal with whatever problems he's dealing with. Interrogation is absolutely the opposite. Interrogation creates chaos. I create chaos inside the character so that the actor, as the character, has to struggle with. I want them to struggle. I don't want to smooth it out. I want the actor to experience the struggle that's going on inside the characters. So it's the opposite of therapy. Coming back to your question about the fine, someone saying fine, I think we all hear that there's a hidden feelings, emotions, or truth behind that. And our job as directors is to honor that, respect it, but not forget it. And if we can allow the actors, especially, a way to release that through the characters, even if it's inappropriate for the character at the time, that may be a gift to the actor.